Welcome to today's Coach's Corner segment. I'm Mike Van Hooser. Today I want to give you 7 things that will help you in developing better thoughts. And on this week's Monday Morning Moments podcast, the audio podcast, which we can provide a link in the show notes to, we talked about 2 axioms that we use with our athletes around thoughts. And the first one was that every action begins with a thought. And so the key question for the week was, what thoughts are you thinking? And that's one of the things that I work with athletes and business leaders and entrepreneurs and all the people that we coach all the time about what are the thoughts they're thinking, and are those positive thoughts leading to positive actions. And then the second axiom that we talked about was what you choose to focus on magnifies in size. So whatever you choose to focus on in your mind, it's going to get bigger and bigger. And that could be a distraction or it could be the goal. And so the key thing is choosing your thoughts wisely. And so I want to give you 7 steps that you can take and 7 tips that you can take to choose better thoughts. And the first one is to choose your thoughts wisely. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but if we have a choice in what we think about, we need to choose those thoughts wisely. I love what John Gordon says in some of his books, including the Training Camp book that I'm currently reading, is he talks about the mind being a garden, and that we need to weed and feed. Weed out the negative thoughts and to feed the positive thoughts. And just like you weed a garden, and maybe you haven't weeded your garden in a while, but maybe it needs attention in the front yard, you need to do that. But the weeds continue to come back, and we constantly have to weed out those weeds so that the good plants can actually be fed and grow, and it to be a garden that we want to be proud of, and something we just ignore and something that takes over our yard. And so when we think about our mind, it's even more important to make sure we're weeding out negative thoughts and worry and fear and anxiety and things like that, and feeding those positive thoughts that are going to help us grow and develop confidence and develop trust in the things that we're approaching. So choose your thoughts wisely and make sure that you're focusing on the right thoughts. I was working with a golfer this week, and we were talking about some of those thoughts, and a lot of the golfers I've worked with, distractions and negative thoughts can kind of get in your mind. And one of the things that she said was that I'm a pretty good putter. And so we talked about it on the next hole, is that putting was actually a strength of hers, and that she wasn't a pretty good putter, but she was a great putter. And so it's things like that. You know, I've worked with other athletes where they've said, well, tomorrow I'm just going to worry about this. And so what we talk about is replacing that with focus, because focus is a better word. I knew what that athlete was saying about worry, but worry is automatically a negative word. So as you think about your thoughts, choosing your thoughts wisely is step 1, and a great step to have a more positive thought life leading to more positive actions. A second point that I think is important is to recall your best performances. When you're thinking about negativity, when you're thinking about, well, I can't do this, or I'm not sure if I can do this, or doubt tends to creep into your mind, you need to recall your best performances. Think about in the last week, the last month, the last year, some of your best performances. We often refer to it almost being the DVR of your mind, and that you can control what you replay and what you don't. And if you're watching a movie or a show, you won't recall the worst performances in that. You're going to recall the best lines or the best performances of that movie that you like. And so as you think about past performances, you need to recall when you've done it before, and think about that going into competition, or if you're a business leader, going into your client meetings. What's kind of the best part of some of the performances you've had in the past, and then recall those as a positive accentuator and kind of accelerator of the next things that you're going to do in this client meeting that's coming up, or in this performance that's coming up, is to recall those best performances, what you were doing in those moments, the process-oriented things that led to a great performance, and then replicate those in the next performance. The third one is visualizing success. And I think as you think about this, you think, well, that's pretty self-explanatory and simple. I mean, doesn't everybody visualize success? But a lot of times we visualize failure. And it starts with the question of, what if? What if I fail? And what if this happens? And automatically we're thinking about bad things going into a performance. And as an athlete on a team, when a teammate would start thinking that, I would want to get away from that and not think about the distractions or how good the other team appeared or looked, but to think about positive thoughts and to visualize the things that I knew we could do, and to visualize my shots going in as a basketball player, or visualizing us having success as a team and the scoreboard showing it in our favor at the end of the game, and making great plays on the court. And so as you think about those things that you're trying to accomplish, it's important to visualize, what does success look like? And if it's standing on that podium at the end of a performance, or having a sale at the end of a client meeting, making sure that you're visualizing what that looks like, and then it can start to lead to the things that will get you to that success point. But we need to make sure that we're visualizing success and not visualizing or fearing failure that comes up. Another point is, don't use disclaimers. And what I mean by that, it kind of goes back to, my mom was an English teacher, and punctuation and things were very important to me like that. And so she emphasized that. And I think it's important when we think about how we're describing what we're doing, and to put a period at the right point at the end of a sentence, and don't use a disclaimer of, well, I usually do well in this, but, and then we add all these other disclaimers or excuses or what ifs to the end of the sentence. I was working with one of my best golfers that I've ever worked with, one of the best athletes I've ever worked with, and I've told the story before, but we were out on the course, and she said, I usually hit this club really well, but in the last tournament I did this and blah, 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 and all these other things. And I took a risk, but I said, what was that you said at the first part of that sentence? And she said, I usually hit this club really well. And I said, period, go do it. And she looked at me really funny, and it was that was kind of abrupt, but she went to her shot, visualized success, and hit an incredible shot that rolled just a few feet from the pin. And we need to understand where to put the period in sentences, and when we are good at something, don't add all these other disclaimers to it, but to say, I'm a great putter, or I'm a great player, or I'm a great soccer player, and then put a period there and go do it. And whatever that is for you today, whatever that gift, strength, or talent is, I want you to walk into that and make sure you're putting a period at the right point of the sentence, and not adding disclaimers about circumstances or what ifs or excuses to that, but make a statement with your life and go out and walk into that strength. A fifth point that I wanted to share with you is to be grateful for your opportunities. I think that's an awesome way to get rid of fear and anxiety, to be grateful for the opportunities that you have. Be grateful for the gifts and talents and strengths that you've been blessed with, and to be grateful for the opportunities to walk in that and to inspire others to be their best as well. And when we're grateful, it's hard to be fearful, because we're grateful for the opportunities, and we want to just appreciate those moments and then walk into those moments bringing our best. And so taking time each day to write down maybe 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for will get you out of that negativity and get you into some positive thoughts, into some positive moments in your life, because you're grateful for the opportunities that you have to not only use your talent, but to use that to inspire others to be great as well. A sixth thing is to remember the people who've helped you along the way. And I think this is so important. As you think about people who've invested in your life, whether it be coaches or parents or teammates, you think about the things that they've taught you along the way, and the things that they've done to inspire you and to motivate you to go further in whatever that talent is. And I think you can walk in that and say, because of the investment that they've made in me, I want to represent them well. I want to display that talent. I want to walk in the things that they showed belief in me, and I want to trust in that and trust in their belief in me. And because of that belief, I'm going to operate from acceptance and not for acceptance, because I'm already accepted by the people who've made an investment in me, and I want to walk in that. And you just walk with a lot more confidence and belief when you walk from a place of acceptance because of people who've invested in you, versus for acceptance and saying, if I do this, then I'll feel good about myself. You've got people, mentors, coaches, and other people who've believed in you and who've invested in you. So represent that well and think about those people, because I think that will get you out of the negative mindset of fear and doubt, because they've showed trust and belief in you. And that kind of leads to the sixth point, and it's foundational, or the seventh point, I'm sorry, replacing fear and doubt with confidence, belief, and trust. And so when you think about all these other things, we need to make sure that we're not pressing those down or repressing fear and doubt and say, well, just don't think about that, but to replace fear and doubt with confidence, belief, and trust. Confidence coming from a place from acceptance because of the talents and the preparation and the gifts and the way you've stewarded those and nurtured those gifts and the practices you've had and a lot of the process-oriented things you've done during the week. You can operate from a place of acceptance. Confidence coming from within that you're going to have your best day. Believing in the things that you know you can do based on your talents and your best. And then the trust piece of replacing that with that doubt with trust. It's doing it. It's acting on that and stepping out, knowing that even if there's a setback, that that's a defining moment to accomplish something greater. So replacing fear and doubt with confidence, belief, and trust. So these 7 things I think can help you to get to a better mindset and also walk in a positive belief that you can accomplish the goals that you're going to accomplish this year, and that you can step out in those leading well and performing in better in whatever you do in sports, business, or life. We'll put these 7 things in the show notes today, and I hope they help you develop a mindset of belief and trust. But don't walk in anxiety. Don't allow the enemy to take away the joy that you have to be able to do what you can do well. And whatever you've been blessed with, those gifts, talents, and opportunities, walk in those with confidence, knowing that those are going to inspire others to be their best as well. The world is counting on you to lead well and to bring your best today. Make the most of the moments in your life and make it a great day.